next performer has the distinct privilege of living with me. So if he makes fun of me for anything, that's why. Because he has to put up with me for so much time in the day, which, believe me, is a handful. Please welcome Jack O'Malley.
Woo! Yes, sweatpants.
Can you guys hear me? Yes? Yeah. Your silence is encouraging. These are my notes. I've written on them reasons I'm cooler now than when I was in high school. So I'm just going to walk you guys through some steps. The first reason that I'm cooler now than when I was in high school has to do with sex. I know, based on the way that I'm dressed, you might think that I am some sort of sex god. But in high school, I was not that. Actually, I never had any sex with anyone. But when I got to college, my roommate actually had a lot of sex with me in the room. And so I started taking notes. I learned a couple key things. Thing number one, a hug is not a promise to have sex, but it's a good first start. Thing two, ensuring consent using a physical contract is a good way to defeat the purpose of consent. And three, there is such a thing as tasteful penetration. I actually learned so much that I'm now majoring in pussy. The second reason that I'm way cooler now has to do with sports. So in my high school, we had a sports requirement. You had to play varsity sport. And I played varsity ultimate frisbee. But when I got to college, I was really pleased to find out that that is so stupid that no one plays it at all, ever. And no one would ever devote any time to ultimate frisbee in any capacity whatsoever. Finally, Sam's on the frisbee team, everyone. Okay, so another thing was I was bullied in high school pretty viciously, actually. People would call me names like asshole, just to really pick up on like how sensitive I was about my tiny asshole. But there's no bullying in college. But the biggest reason I'm cooler, actually, is because I'm much more popular now than I was in high school. And the main reason for that is that when you get to college, because no one knows who you are, you can just sell your personality to the highest bidder. So for instance, if I went to a frat, like, I hated nerds. Cool, I was in. If I was in an a cappella group, I hated deaf people. Cool, I was in. If I went to the Yale radio station, I hated everyone, but especially deaf people. Cool, I was in. But one recent event happened that has made me much more popular. Some of you may have mistaken me for an ugly person. And the reason for that is because of my face. But if you think I look bad, you can ask people in the first row who can see my missing tooth how I actually look. So I had this accident basically over the weekend where I tripped and fell while I was playing wiffle ball with some of my friends, which is what I told the people in the ER. What actually happened was I was very, very drunk, and a parking lot came and hit me in the face. So when this happened, I was lying on the ground, and so a lot of people have this misconception that their friends care about them and will do what's in their best interest. But if you ever fall drunk around other people who are drunk, I promise you that's not the case. Instead, my friends duct taped a paper towel to my face and sent me to acute care. And when I got there, the guy was like, "Shit, that looks bad. Let me give you the extra absorbent gauze." But there are some upsides to having a brutally mutilated face for the last week of your sophomore year, and I've written them on this piece of paper. So obviously the first one is the extra absorbent gauze. It makes a big difference, you'd be surprised. The second thing is that if you're like, well, my lip is swollen and my tooth is broken, so I can only eat yogurt through a straw, other people will do things like make you a smoothie without you having to ask, or like chew your food and put it in the straw. Another thing is, people will just see you and girls will come up to you and give you a hug, which, as I said, doesn't mean that you will get to have sex with them, but it is a good first step. On that same note, I will often, for instance, complain that, because of my face, I haven't had sex in a while, and people will pleasure me as a result. That one doesn't really make sense because, I could still, masturbate, but you get away with a lot of things when you look like I do. And the last one, sort of the best benefit of my face is that when I tell jokes, people will laugh at them and then applaud when I walk off stage.
Thank you, Jack. That was great. Believe it or not, his current scab Hitler mustache look is an improvement over what it was before. Because when he had the gauze, it was like a huge mustache, like the live-action version of Cat in the Hat.